Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that you spent your entire life saving money for a future that never arrived. Think about that for a second. You worked overtime, skipped vacations, ignored your health, postponed your dreams, and kept telling yourself the same sentence, "I'll enjoy life later." But what if later comes much later than you expect, or never comes at all? Most people are taught one rule from childhood: save as much money as possible. We celebrate people who sacrifice today for tomorrow, but almost nobody asks a much more important question. What exactly are you saving your life for? Money is valuable, but time is priceless. Every dollar you earn can be earned again. Every hour you lose is gone forever. And if someone offered you $1 million in exchange for 10 years of your life, would you take it? Probably not. That tells us something powerful. Deep down, we already know that time is more valuable than money, yet we continue living as if money is the ultimate goal. Today, we're going to challenge one of the biggest beliefs about success. By the end of this video, you may never look at work, savings, retirement, or even your daily choices the same way again. Stay with me until the end, because the final lesson could completely change how you plan the rest of your life. Let me tell you a story. Two friends graduated from college together. Both were smart, both got good jobs, both earned almost the same salary. The first friend decided that every extra dollar should go into savings. He refused invitations, avoided travel, never bought experiences, and constantly reminded himself that he would enjoy life after retirement. The second friend also saved money, but he believed that life should be experienced while he was still young enough to enjoy it. He traveled occasionally, learned new skills, spent time with family, stayed healthy, and invested not only in his bank account, but also in memories. 30 years later, something unexpected happened. The first friend had accumulated a huge fortune, but his health had declined. His knees hurt too much to hike the mountains he had dreamed about. His parents had passed away before they could take that family vacation. His children had grown up and built lives of their own. The money was still there, but many of the opportunities were gone forever. The second friend wasn't the richest person in the room, but he had stories, friendships, adventures, and memories that could never be taken away. Which one was actually wealthier? The answer isn't as obvious as it seems. Most people confuse wealth with numbers in a bank account. Real wealth is the ability to create meaningful experiences while you still have the health, energy, and freedom to enjoy them. Think about your own life. There are things you can do at 25 that become much harder at 55. Learning to surf, backpacking across countries, climbing mountains, staying awake all night with friends, starting a risky business, or traveling with your parents while they're still healthy enough to walk beside you. Every experience has an expiration date, and very few people realize this until that date has already passed. Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. If you knew with absolute certainty that you only had 10 years left to live, how would you spend your money differently? Would you still work every weekend? Would you still delay every dream? Would you still buy things you don't really need just to impress people you barely know? Probably not. Suddenly, your priorities would become crystal clear. The strange thing is that none of us actually knows how much time we have. We behave as if we'll live forever, even though every single day proves the opposite. Society has trained us to measure success by accumulation. Bigger house, bigger savings, bigger investment portfolio, bigger retirement account. But accumulation without purpose can quietly become another form of fear. We keep collecting because we're afraid of not having enough tomorrow. That fear often steals today's happiness. Imagine someone who owns thousands of books but never reads them. Another person collects expensive cameras but never takes photographs. A third person spends decades building enormous wealth but never uses it to create a meaningful life. In every case, the collection becomes more important than the purpose. Think about children for a moment. They don't remember how expensive their birthday cake was. They remember laughing with friends. They don't remember the price of the vacation hotel. They remember building sandcastles on the beach with their parents. Experiences leave emotional fingerprints on our minds. Possessions usually don't. That's why years later, people smile when talking about road trips, concerts, camping adventures, surprise birthdays, learning new skills, or meeting someone who changed their life. Almost nobody says, "The happiest day of my life was watching my savings account increase by 2%. This doesn't mean money isn't important. It absolutely is. Money gives us security. It gives us choices. It protects us during emergencies. But money is supposed to be a tool, not a destination. Imagine buying the world's most advanced smartphone and never turning it on because you're afraid the battery might wear out. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Yet millions of people do something very similar with their lives. They protect their resources so carefully that they forget to actually use them for the purpose they were meant to serve. Here's another idea that changes everything. Your ability to enjoy experiences isn't constant throughout life. It changes with age. In your 20s, you have energy, but maybe not much money. In middle age, you often have more money, but less free time. Later in life, you may finally have both money and time, but your health may no longer cooperate. This means every stage of life offers unique opportunities that can never be perfectly recreated later. Missing them isn't just postponing them. Sometimes it's losing them forever. Imagine someone saying they'll learn to play professional basketball after turning 70, or someone planning their first backpacking trip across Europe at 85. Technically, nothing stops them from trying, but reality tells a different story. Life has seasons. Every season offers experiences that belong specifically to that stage. Understanding this may be one of the most valuable financial lessons you'll ever hear, because financial planning isn't just about growing wealth, it's about matching your resources with the right moments in your life. Now let me ask you something personal. Think back to one of the happiest memories you've ever had. Maybe it was a family trip. Maybe it was graduating with your friends. Maybe it was falling in love, starting a business, winning a competition, or simply watching the sunset with someone that mattered. Notice something interesting. That memory keeps giving you happiness long after the moment ended. You still smile when you think about it. That's the hidden power of meaningful experiences. They don't end when they're over. They continue paying emotional dividends for years, sometimes decades. And that brings us to a life-changing realization. The best investments aren't always the ones that grow inside a financial account. Sometimes the greatest returns come from memories that continue enriching your life every time you remember them. But here's the challenge. Most people wait for the perfect moment before investing in those experiences. They wait until they're richer, less busy, less stressed, or more successful. Unfortunately, perfect moments rarely arrive. Life keeps moving, opportunities quietly disappear, and one day we look back wondering where all the years went. So before we continue, I want you to keep one question in your mind. If your future self could travel back in time and give you one piece of advice about how you're spending your time, your energy, and your money today,
what do you think that advice would be? Maybe it would sound something like this. Stop assuming you'll always have another chance. Most of us don't lose the biggest opportunities in life because we make terrible decisions. We lose them because we keep postponing the good ones. We tell ourselves we'll travel next year, call our parents next weekend, start exercising next month, or finally chase that dream when life becomes less busy. But life has a strange way of filling every empty space with another responsibility. The perfect time never arrives. Instead, our calendar gets fuller while our energy quietly gets lower. Picture two jars sitting on a table. One jar is filled with money. The other is filled with moments you'll never get back. Every decision you make is an exchange between the two. Sometimes trading money for time is the smartest investment you'll ever make. Hiring help so you can spend an evening with your family, taking a weekend to recharge instead of working non-stop, or learning a skill that opens new opportunities may seem expensive today, but years later, those decisions often become the ones you value the most. The return isn't measured only in dollars, it's measured in the quality of your life. Here's something successful people often discover too late. Achievement without enjoyment creates an empty victory. Imagine climbing a mountain for decades, only to realize that you never stopped to admire the view. You reached the top, but missed the journey. Life isn't a race where the only thing that matters is crossing the finish line. It's a collection of ordinary days, conversations, challenges, and memories that eventually become your story. Now think about the people who matter most to you. Parents grow older, children grow up, friends move away. None of these changes ask for your permission. Time keeps moving whether you're paying attention or not. That's why some opportunities are far more valuable than they appear. A dinner with your grandparents today may become one of the memories you treasure most 20 years from now. A weekend adventure with your children may become the story they tell their own kids someday. Moments like these don't come with a price tag, but their value becomes obvious only after they're gone. There's another mistake people often make. They believe happiness is waiting on the other side of a number. Once I save this amount, once I get that promotion, once I buy that house, then I'll finally relax. But every milestone creates another milestone. The finish line keeps moving, and if you're not careful, you'll spend your entire life chasing a future that never feels close enough. Instead, imagine designing your life with intention. Ask yourself not only how much money do I want, but also what kind of memories do I want to create? Which skills do you want to master? Which places do you want to explore? Which relationships deserve more of your attention? These questions shift your focus from simply collecting wealth to building a life that actually feels rich. The truth is that balance isn't about spending everything or saving everything. It's about making conscious choices instead of living on autopilot. Every dollar should have a purpose, and every year of your life should have experiences that make it unforgettable. Because at the end of the day, people rarely regret the meaningful moments they embraced. They usually regret the moments they convinced themselves could wait. And this leads to an even bigger realization. The greatest risk isn't running out of money. The greatest risk is reaching the end of your life with a heart full of plans that were never lived. The greatest risk isn't reaching the end of life with too little money. It's reaching the end with too many unlived moments. Imagine opening a notebook on the final day of your life. Every page represents a year you've lived. Some pages are filled with adventures, meaningful conversations, lessons, and memories that still make you smile. Other pages are almost blank, covered with nothing but routines and endless waiting for the right time. Which notebook would you rather leave behind? The uncomfortable truth is that no one accidentally creates a meaningful life. It happens through intentional choices made one ordinary day at a time. Think about the last 12 months. How many moments can you remember so clearly that they still make you feel something? Maybe it was watching a sunrise after a long night of travel. Maybe it was finally forgiving someone. Maybe it was taking a chance on a new opportunity even though you were scared. Those memories became valuable not because they were expensive, but because they changed something inside you. Growth rarely comes from staying comfortable. It comes from experiences that challenge the way you think, live, and see the world. There's an interesting difference between spending and investing that most people overlook. Buying something because you're bored usually creates temporary excitement. Investing in something that helps you become wiser, healthier, or closer to the people you love often creates value that lasts for years. Learning a language, taking a meaningful trip, mastering a new skill, or dedicating uninterrupted time to the people who matter most can continue rewarding you long after the moment itself has passed. The reward isn't just what happened, it's who you become because it happened. Now imagine two versions of yourself 10 years from today. The first version spent every year saying, maybe next year. The second version said, I'll start with what I have. Neither life was perfect. Both faced setbacks, uncertainty, and unexpected challenges. But one person collected excuses while the other collected experiences. Years later, those small decisions produced completely different lives.
Success isn't usually built in giant leaps, it's built in tiny moments when you choose action over delay. Here's a question worth asking whenever you're about to postpone something important. If I wait another 5 years, will this opportunity become easier, harder, or impossible? Some opportunities become better with patience, others quietly disappear. Relationships change, parents grow older, children become adults, your interests evolve, your health changes. Recognizing which opportunities have an expiration date helps you focus on what truly deserves your attention today. One of the biggest myths about happiness is that it's hidden somewhere in the future. In reality, happiness often grows from paying full attention to the present. A conversation without checking your phone, a walk without rushing, a meal shared with people you care about, a weekend spent creating memories instead of simply recovering from another exhausting week. These moments may seem ordinary while they're happening, but years later they often become extraordinary in your memory. The goal isn't to avoid planning for tomorrow. Planning matters, saving matters, responsibility matters. But life becomes far more meaningful when today's choices also have a place at the table. The healthiest approach isn't choosing between enjoying life and preparing for the future. It's learning how to do both with intention. That's where real freedom begins, not when you have unlimited money, but when your daily choices reflect what you genuinely value. So, before you move on with your day, ask yourself one simple question. If today were remembered as one page in the story of your life, what would make it worth reading again? Sometimes the smallest decision you make today becomes the memory you're most grateful for years from now. And that is where lasting fulfillment truly begins.
Lasting fulfillment doesn't appear overnight. It is built through thousands of small decisions that quietly shape the direction of your life. Most people believe their future will be determined by one extraordinary event, a lucky break, a perfect investment, or a life-changing opportunity. But in reality, your future is usually created by the choices that seem too small to matter today. Choosing to spend an evening learning instead of endlessly scrolling. Choosing to call someone you love before you're too busy. Choosing to take care of your body before illness forces you to. These decisions rarely make headlines, yet they build a life you'll eventually be proud to look back on. Imagine standing at a crossroads with two paths ahead of you. The first path promises comfort. It asks nothing of you except to keep doing what you've always done. The second path is uncertain. It requires courage, curiosity, and the willingness to make mistakes. At first, the comfortable path feels easier, but years later, many people discover that comfort often carries a hidden cost. The cost isn't money, it's unrealized potential. It's wondering what might have happened if you had trusted yourself just a little more. Think about the greatest teachers in your own life. Chances are they weren't the moments when everything went according to plan. They were the moments when life surprised you. The business that failed but taught resilience, the rejection that pushed you toward a better opportunity, the difficult season that revealed strengths you never knew you had. Every challenge carries a lesson that cannot be learned from comfort alone. When you begin to see experiences as investments in your character, even setbacks become valuable. There is another form of wealth that almost nobody measures. It's the ability to wake up in the morning excited about the life you've created. It's having relationships built on trust instead of convenience. It's possessing skills that no economic downturn can take away. It's having peace of mind because your decisions align with your values instead of other people's expectations. This kind of wealth doesn't appear on a financial statement, yet it often determines whether someone feels truly successful. Ask yourself this question: if every possession you owned tomorrow, what would still remain? Your knowledge would remain. Your character would remain. Your memories would remain.
Your ability to solve problems would remain. The kindness you've shown others would remain. These are assets that continue growing every time you invest in them, and unlike material things, they become more valuable with time rather than less. Too many people postpone living because they're waiting to feel completely ready. But confidence rarely comes before action. It usually follows action. The first step feels uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, not because it's impossible. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful entrepreneur once faced uncertainty. Every inspiring life story started with someone deciding that today was a better day to begin than tomorrow. Picture yourself many years from now, sitting quietly and reflecting on your journey. Imagine being able to smile, not because everything went perfectly, but because you had the courage to participate fully in your own life. You didn't let fear make every important decision. You didn't spend decades waiting for the perfect moment. You accepted that life would always involve uncertainty, and you moved forward anyway. That is a different kind of success, one measured not only by achievements, but by the depth of the life you experienced along the way. The remarkable thing about today is that it doesn't ask you to fix your entire future. It only asks you to make one meaningful decision, read one chapter, have one honest conversation, take one step toward a long-delayed goal, express gratitude to someone who deserves to hear it, protect 1 hour for what matters most. Small actions repeated consistently become extraordinary results over time. So here's the challenge. When this video ends, don't let these ideas become another source of temporary motivation. Turn one insight into one action before the day is over, because inspiration fades, but action creates momentum. And momentum, sustained over months and years, quietly transforms an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. Your future is not being written someday. It is being written by the choices you make today, this hour, and this very moment.
Before you close this video, I want you to do something that most people never do. Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine that you're meeting your future self 20 years from now. That person has already lived through every decision you're still debating today. They've experienced the victories, the failures, the unexpected turns, and the moments that changed everything. Now imagine asking them one simple question: what mattered most? Chances are they won't start talking about the size of a paycheck, the model of a car, or the balance of an investment account. They'll probably talk about the people they loved, the courage they found when they were afraid, the opportunities they embraced before they disappeared, and the moments that made them feel truly alive. The reality is that every single day you are making a trade. You're trading time for work, attention for distractions, comfort for growth, or growth for comfort. The question isn't whether you're making trades. The question is whether you're making the right ones, because every yes is also a no. Every hour spent on one thing is an hour that can never be spent on something else. That's why the most valuable resource you own isn't money, it's your attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Think about how quickly the years have passed. It probably doesn't feel that long ago that you were celebrating a birthday, starting a new job, finishing school, or making plans that seemed far away at the time. Yet here you are. Time moved whether you noticed it or not, and it will continue moving with the same quiet consistency tomorrow. That's not meant to create fear, it's meant to create clarity. Once you understand that time is limited, you stop treating ordinary days as if they are unlimited. Here's a challenge that can change the direction of your life. At the beginning of every year, don't just make financial goals, make memory goals. Decide which relationships you want to strengthen. Decide which skill you finally want to master. Decide which place you've always wanted to visit. Decide which fear you're going to face. Decide which habit will make your future healthier, wiser, and more resilient. If you plan only for income, you'll probably earn more money. But if you plan for a meaningful life, you'll create something far more valuable. Remember, success is not about living the busiest life, it's about living the most intentional one. Some of the happiest people in the world aren't the ones who own the most, they're the ones who appreciate the most. Gratitude has a remarkable way of turning what feels ordinary today into something extraordinary tomorrow. The dinner with your family, the conversation with an old friend, the quiet walk at sunset, the chance to learn something new. These moments often become the treasures you remember long after expensive purchases have been forgotten. As this video comes to an end, don't let these ideas remain entertainment. Information alone doesn't change lives. Reflection leads to awareness, but action creates transformation. So choose one action today. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Send the message you've been postponing. Book the trip you've been talking about for years. Start the project you've been overthinking. Spend an uninterrupted hour with someone you love. Read one chapter of a book that helps you grow. Take the first step, because the first step is always more important than the perfect plan. One day, you'll look back at this season of your life. When that day comes, I hope you won't simply remember how much you earned. I hope you'll remember how deeply you lived, how generously you loved, how boldly you learned, and how fully you embraced the opportunities that were placed in front of you. At the end of our lives, the question won't simply be, how much did we accumulate? The deeper question will be, did we use our time to build a life worth remembering? The answer to that question isn't decided years from now. It's decided today, one choice at a time. If this message made you stop and think, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And more importantly, let today be the day you stop waiting for the perfect moment, because life isn't happening someday, it's happening now. And the decisions you make after this very moment may become the story your future self is most grateful you chose to write.